Innovation Pilot Project webinar. We have some great presenters today. As you guys know, we've been hosting these over the last couple of weeks and it's been really informative. We've had a lot of great positive feedback from individuals and families and stakeholders reaching out, wanting more information and wanting to get involved. So it's been a great couple weeks with this. Next slide. Again, I try to really, again, just share every project that we have is going to fit into one of these general categories. So we have supporting those that support. So that's really looking at that relationship with the direct support professional, as well as caregivers, support through technology. So that's around really, again, not just remote supports, but how can technology help individuals increase their independence as well as live, the lives that they want to live, whether that's connecting with their community through technology. We have community partnership, community change, information and skills for individuals, and exploring current models of services and payment. So we have four entities today that are going to present to you and are going to touch on one and maybe even more of those boxes. I just want to, again, share this website that we have created. It's the Beads Innovative Pilot Project website. It's within the HCBS Spin Plan website that FSSA has created. Right now, it doesn't have too much on it, but it has some good information around each of the projects. Every single grantee that received a grant from Beads created what we're calling a one-pager, which is one page literally of information around their project, sharing what they're doing, what areas of the state they're impacting, short-term outcomes, long-term outcomes, what they're hoping to see at the end of these, these 2 years. So if you haven't, check it out. It's a lot of one-pagers, but they're on there. We also are sharing the recordings of these presentations if you weren't able to attend or you want to go back and rewatch or share with individuals and families. Those, if you scroll down, you can't, but if you go to this webpage, and I'll put the link in the chat, you can go down to the bottom and you'll be able to see those recordings. Next page. Next slide. Today, again, I will stop talking. We have Pure Abilities, Logan Community Resources, Volunteers of America Mid-States, as well as Indiana Family to Family. So I'm going to kick it off. And if you have any questions and you want to chat them, if you want to save them until the end, I can go ahead and Jennifer and I will watch that and we'll make sure, we probably won't run out of time, but just in case we do, we'll make sure that someone reaches out to you if we're not able to address your question. So I'm going to kick it off to Pure Abilities.
Hi, everyone. Hope everyone's having a great morning so far. My name is Madison Prather. I'm a recreational therapist with Pure Abilities, and today I'll be presenting on our IPP program, Bridging the Gap. On the agenda today, I'll cover a little bit about who we are as a company, how our speed dating event was one of the inspirations for our program, how Bridging the Gap has adapted the Peers social skills training, an overview of our goals and outcomes, and our vision for success and long-term continuation of our project. So next, who are we? So Pure Abilities was established. Go ahead and go next. Thank you. Pure Abilities was established in 2016 in Fort Wayne by our owner, Ethan Pickett. And we currently serve clients across 40 counties in Central, Northeast, and Southwest Indiana. Our company's mission is that we strive to enhance the quality of life of each individual served and provide opportunities for social and physical involvement through our quality therapy services. The services we provide include recreational therapy, behavior management, and music therapy. And population we work with can range from primary diagnoses, including autism, cerebral palsy, Down syndrome, hydrocephalus, intellectual and developmental disabilities, traumatic brain injury. And then we also see some secondary diagnoses, including ADHD, anxiety, and depression, to name a few. And in these pictures on the slide, you can see one of our awesome Fort Wayne groups. They were able to attend prom in Indianapolis, and they rode in style in our recently purchased van, which will actually play a key role in our project's accessibility in the picture below. We have a snapshot of one of our successful matches on our date after one of the speed dating events. So yeah, that gives you a little sense of what that looks like. Now, go next. Our speed dating event was a major inspiration for our IPP, which has been headed by our Director of Behavior Management, Brittany Martin. Pure Abilities has successfully launched 2 speed dating events, and our third annual will actually be tomorrow. And our speed dating events, they've forecasted success that can come from our project, as many participants experience social growth and several sustained friendships and relationships. Applying our knowledge and experience from these events has helped us launch our project. So next, we will give you guys a glimpse about what some of our participants had to say about their speed dating experience. So if you want to hit play on the video.
I don't think I realized it was a video, so the link isn't there. I apologize.
It should try clicking on the video. It might be able to play.
Oh, maybe it will.
Thanks. Okay.
And I'm here at the Pure Abilities speed dating event. I got out of my shell and I wanted to meet new people.
I have to admit, it's a fun way to meet people. That's what it's like.
My favorite things is just meet new people and just get to know them and see how they are.
I would just say my advice would be to be who you are, you know, and let people know how you feel about who you are, and don't be afraid.
I met some really nice people tonight, and we'll see where it goes.
Like just be yourself and don't like trying to fake who you are. Just be yourself.
Can't wait to see you all at the next event.
So that gives you an idea about what some of our events are like. And for our speed dating, it's important to note that each event has safety protocol, so not exchanging last names or contact information. And we use a third party for if and when matches occur. And not everyone walks away with a match, but the goal is about bringing people together and bringing a community together, supporting each individual's choice and human right to pursue friendships and romantic relationships. And it's also about having fun. So next slide.
My name is Dan.
So bridging the gap. Bridging the gap is what we have named our project, and our name is symbolic of our goal. We recognize the challenges and barriers that people with disabilities face when it comes to social opportunities. Yet our goal for our program is to empower each participant to use their strengths, skills, talents, and interests to build connections and to bridge that social gap. Next slide. Our program is an adaptation of UCLA's peers training for young adults ages 18 to 35. And our first round of our program will last 12 weeks. Each week, participants will spend sessions in the classroom learning social skills such as how to use appropriate conversation skills, how to resource friends, how to use humor, how to enter and exit group conversations, how to cope with rejection, electronic communication, and many more. Our classroom setting will be at Fort Wayne's Turnstone Center for Children and Adults with Disabilities. For those of you unfamiliar with Turnstone, one of the many reasons why we selected Turnstone is because Turnstone's one of Northeast Indiana's only freestanding not-for-profit organizations that provides comprehensive services addressing a variety of needs for people with disabilities and their families. This agency has an exceptional staff. They have physical, occupational, speech, and recreation therapists, fitness specialists, social workers, and educators. And Turnstone's vision also aligns with Pure Abilities because they aspire to a world that accepts and values people based on their abilities. In addition, they are also a U.S. Olympic and Paralympic training site, so their facilities are amazing. As for bridging the gap, and our social outings, for our social outings, we are planning to partner with local restaurants and entertainment and recreation centers. And those will be used for cultivating this social community for our program. Now, for peers, they develop their curriculum for a population similar to Peer Abilities clients. However, Bridging the Gap will open its application to Fort Wayne community. And we developed a participation criteria using our Peer Abilities assessments. And this first round's classroom will be at a maximum of 15 participants. In the graph on the slide here, you can see the efficacy of the peers program, with T1 being the pre-test, T2 being post-test, and T3 being 1 to 5 year follow-ups. They use social skills rating system to measure the increase of scores from pre to post and continued improvement after the program. And Bridging the Gap hopes to see similar increased outcomes when we collect and analyze our data. Next slide. So for goals and outcomes, we've developed objectives that specify numbers we aim to achieve, but for today, we'd like to share our broader short-term and long-term goals and outcomes. Next slide. At the foundational level of our program, we aim to teach and help participants learn social skills. Bridging the Gap will provide a multitude of skills such as basic communication skills, empathy, rapport, interpersonal skills, problem solving, and accountability. As participants are able to role play in the classroom, confidence will be built, whether that's in the classroom itself, from their homework, or with their social coach. And once that confidence is gained, social awareness is next. And this will be a key outcome from the social outings built into our program, where participants will be challenged to bring what they learned from the classroom out and bring that into the community. As Bridging the Gap creates social opportunities, our goal is to empower advocacy. We will help participants see new possibilities for friendships and/or romantic relationships. And finally, our highest level outcome is to increase social independence. So next slide. Now that we've looked at what our goals and outcomes are for our participants, we want to discuss the vision for success for the project itself. Our first round will start this summer, and our next round will start in the fall. After these 2 rounds in Fort Wayne, we plan to use our analyzed data, consumer surveys, and overall feedback to make adjustments so that we can streamline our program and then launch it in other areas of Indiana, with the next launch planned for Indianapolis. Now, our program has potential to reach several different counties in Indiana, all 40, hopefully, maybe, we'll see. Our hope is to expand classroom sizes as more interest is gained. There are other groups out there who are using the Peers Social Skills program, but Peer Abilities Bridging the Gap is special in its own way. Next slide. One of the ways our program is special is that we are going to be providing transportation. Using the grant, we were able to purchase a van that creates accessibility. Participants will have a ride to and from classroom sessions and community outings, and they won't have to worry about transportation with our program. And for participants who need wheelchair access, Peer Abilities will organize third-party transportation for those who need that wheelchair access. And next, our program will be cultivating community partnerships. So as we mentioned, Turnstone Center, in addition, we'll be using Fort Wayne libraries, seasonal festivals, fitness centers such as local YMCAs, Speece Fitness, and many more locations that will provide those social opportunities. Bridging the Gap uses a strengths-based approach. We ensure an inclusive environment by developing adaptations and modifications to meet the needs of each individual in our program. And we will also continue creating unique social opportunities, such as speed dating events during our program, followed by a personalized graduation ceremony and the mentorship we have planned for our participants to become mentors, and then they can help facilitate future classrooms. And lastly, Bridging the Gap's vision for success means facilitating social connection. Our program will promote an environment that prioritizes social inclusion, and with inclusion being a focus, social skills will then transform to social connection. And that completes our presentation. So next slide. Before we go, we just want to say thank you so much to DDRS, and we really are grateful for this IPP opportunity. Next slide. For those looking to connect, please find us on social media, like our Facebook, Instagram, like LinkedIn, or Pure Ability's website. And then here's our contact information, connect by phone or email, and then we will open it up for questions and answers. I also have,
oh, go ahead. We're gonna wait until the end if that's okay, just to make sure that we get through all the, if you can stay on, that'd be great. There is one question, but I'll go ahead and wait till the end, and you might be able to see the chat, so you can actually probably answer it, but I'll probably announce it as well. Okay, thank you so much.
thank you.
Okay, up next we have Logan.
Hello, everybody, and happy Wednesday. Good to see everybody. Well, this is timed perfectly that we get to go right after Madison, because our program is really complementary to what they're doing, and I'm hopeful to talk to you a little bit about that. I don't know if you know me. I'm Joshua Deal. I'm the Chief Program Officer here at Logan, and I oversee about half of our programmatic services. I have a twin, Cheryl Shady, who some of you might know. I'm kind of a weirdo in the sense that I started out in academia doing research with people with developmental disabilities and autism, and really wanted to, kind of leave academia and get into the community. And these kinds of projects are just exactly the kind of things that get me really excited. I also wanted to do a quick promo. My inspiration is I'm a sibling of people with developmental, or of my brother who has a developmental disability. So if you're going to INRF this year, please come to my presentation on siblings. I think it will be a lot of fun. So hopefully I get to see you there. Now, I'm also really good at taking credit for my staff's hard work, and Stephanie Proudfoot is on this call. She's one of our most experienced therapists, and she's really been the driving force in a lot of what we're doing with this particular program. So I just want to make sure to give her the props that she deserves, because she's pretty amazing. For those of you that don't know Logan, Logan's been around for a really long time. We were started in 1950, coming up on our 75th anniversary, serving 22 people with a budget of $22. That budget is a little bit more than that these days, and we're serving thousands of people in the Michiana community here in Northern Indiana. We're really a true lifespan organization serving people with developmental disabilities. And in many ways, we're a community, a nonprofit community organizations that would only exist with the support of our community. So we feel really blessed. I feel really blessed to work at such a wonderful organization. And it's really neat to see all the peer organizations that we get to work with across the state that share our mission. So let's kind of dive into this. One of the great things is that Madison did some of the heavy lifting. So I'm going to kind of focus on what's important and what's unique about what we're doing. I think we can all recognize that there's a fundamental need for life skills supports, especially in adolescence and adulthood, for individuals on the autism spectrum. What's interesting is there's been huge growth in the amount of services that are available to young children on the autism spectrum. But those services get fewer and fewer as we get into adolescence and into adulthood. And in many ways, it's our moral responsibility to provide these services and support to people with developmental disabilities and autism as they get into adulthood. Now, individuals with autism often face similar challenges to what we're used to with IDD in terms of independent living, vocation, and co-occurring mental health challenges. But they're facing challenges finding appropriate services. They may not qualify for services because of their specific disability. They may not have the skills to be able to seek the services on their own, even though they might be they might not have a guardian. They might be their own. They might be living independently. And in addition to that, the services that are available might not be appropriate, or the people who are giving those services might not have the appropriate training. So now what's very similar to Pure Abilities, we think about individuals with autism as having many strengths and having a different way of processing the world, but difficulties in socialization and kind of general life adaptive functioning kind of create that difficulty in terms of daily functioning, but also the double jeopardy of making it difficult to seek services. And again, many of the community professionals who work with adults don't necessarily have training to work with individuals with autism and other intellectual developmental disabilities. And even the programs that are available tend to focus on something like vocation or independent living, or a very specific area rather than the core skills that we believe it can help multiple areas, particularly for people with autism. Now, we, in parallel to what Pure Abilities and some of the other programs are doing, have been piloting the Peers program. What's great about this program is, Madison talked a little bit about the empirical support for it. It's tremendous. And one of the few programs, if not really kind of the only program that has this level of empirical support for improving adaptive skills, such as social skills. They offer different camps, so to speak, on things related to dating and careers, but this kind of core program is really getting at life skills. So all of a sudden, we as a community, as a state, have kind of a roadmap for something that, in theory, could be transformative for people with autism and other developmental disabilities. Now, it was really developed for individuals with autism, but I hope many of you see, some of the things we're talking about could be widely applicable to people with multiple diagnoses that could be really important. Just really cool subcomponents, even of that main program related to, very functional skills related to internet safety and dating and bullying and a lot of these different programs. Now, we've been piloting these for about 2 years at Logan, and working in conjunction with the St. Mary's Master of Autism Studies program. We've been doing it with adults, and they've been piloting them with adolescents with tremendous response and feedback, and tons of people wanting to access these types of programs. So we're really excited about them. But we kind of want to take this to the next level. A lot of the research that's out there has focused on kind of the efficacy of these programs, which would be how these things happen in a lab. And what we really want to do is kind of look more broadly at how these things can be applied in real life, not just in a university community, but in a small community, in a lower SES community, broadly across the state, to really kind of look at its applicability. So we've developed a number of measures, both qualitative and quantitative, that we believe are going to be able to give us and hopefully the state great feedback in terms of the potential benefits of this program and how it might be adapted to be used in multiple communities. And you'll see a couple of organizations that are using the Peers program, but in the broad sense, Logan's role, and given my experience in kind of broader evaluation, and also our team's experience, we're going to be looking a lot at not just the effectiveness, but also at the scalability. We are going to be trying to coordinate as much as possible with the existing IPP organizations, but also recruiting other organizations that are either using the program across the state or interested in using the program to be able to look at a broad scale implementation and kind of judge the feasibility of something like this as being a dedicated waiver service. So really excited about our role in this particular program. we have the short-term goals of improving, measurable life skills. If you look at kind of intermediate goals, we really want to increase community access and participation is a really important goal. But again, our long-term goal is to look at this as a sustainable adaptive skills training program that can be accessible to Hoosiers throughout the state. As a part of our scalability, we're going to look at true cost analysis and things along those lines that would lead to this kind of long-term scalability measure of what we're trying to do. We're really blessed in the sense that we already have some built-in partners here within the Michiana community. We've been getting a lot of feedback from stakeholders already, but we're really excited to collaborate with our IPP peers and friends, Arc of Evansville and Pure Abilities, to kind of look at the scalability and kind of compare and contrast what we've been finding at our different locations. So in many ways, there's a lot of positive here, and we're really excited about where we're going with this. If I had this slide for questions, but I've already been told that that's a big no-no, that we're doing this at the end. If you have any questions for me, you can email us directly, autism@logancenter.org, and we'd be happy to talk with you about how you can get involved in something like this. So thank you, everybody, and look forward to working with those of you who are interested.
Thanks, Josh. I'll put your email address if that's okay as well, or typically in the chat, I'm putting the direct contact too for the IPP. So thank you. Okay, we have Volunteers of America, David.
Yes, my name is David Block. I'm the Associate Director here at Volunteers of America Mid-States. Just a little bit about Volunteers of America. We are a national organization that was founded well over 100 years ago, and we are in 32 states. We have affiliates. We are with the Louisville office affiliates called the Volunteers of America Mid-States. We provide services to individuals, state of Kentucky and Tennessee, here in Clark and Floyd County of Indiana, and also in a couple of counties in West Virginia. So we started here providing waiver services in 2003. We have supported living homes, community-based services, and in-home support for individuals here in Clark and Floyd County. Okay, go to next. All right. So our pilot project, we're calling it Belonging Matters. And I thought I'd just put the one pager up there since we developed it. This came about, probably 12 or 13 years ago. I met Tim Vogt, who runs Starfire in Cincinnati, and thought they were doing some really, really cool, innovative things then. As far as really being out in the community and really involving family members. So we're going to be partnering with Starfire to assist families who have a member with a disability in designing and growing a good life. Okay, now the good life is a term we all use a lot, right, anymore. And what does that mean? So on the left, you go to what we will do. A couple of things we really want to do is we want to identify families and individuals who are interested in building a more inclusive life in the community. We want to conduct training, coaching sessions, workshops for the individuals or family members around foundational awareness and some emotional readiness of that. And we also want to provide a lot of guided practice and technical assistance for individuals and family members in implementing some new practices for this. And as far as the next column is how we will do it, we'll have families conduct projects within their neighborhoods centered around the interests of the person. For this presentation, I thought about trying to use some clips the Starfire had, but I thought, well, I don't want to go to that extent. I will, there was a couple of them, like there was a family in Cincinnati area who they had this huge interest in getting a carnival atmosphere going again because they missed that. So Starfire worked with this family on getting this carnival for the neighborhood. So the individual with a disability got to know their neighbors, and the neighbors helped plan this. And this took probably a 7 or 8 month process of making this neighborhood project happen. There was another one, there was a pop-up sew and play party the individual liked to sew a bit. So they gathered their neighbors and they created this project around the sewing. And a third one, there was an art event where the neighbors came out to decorate an acorn, and the acorn represented a symbol of community. And those are just 3 examples of a project that a family will have to undertake. Okay. With that, let's see. And we're going to give them the resources and tools to help them build a community connection, okay, for that. And so what we expect to achieve from the vision, if you look on the right there's a couple of things. I think the main thing we want to know is, or the main thing we want is individuals with the label of a disability are known by their interests or traits or their personalities rather than their disability, and that the family members will feel comfortable in their role of supporting the person with the label of a disability to be more known by other people in the community. And the more long range is so we got the individuals with the label of disability spending more time in valued roles with other people who are not paid to be in their life. And that there will be an increase by the family members and community members on their expectations of how someone with a label of disability can contribute to their community. I think a lot of families are wanting something different. They don't want their traditional, hey, go to a program, go to a building and spend your day there. They're looking for how do we help them with a life? And we think this process will help with that. I think on the bottom right there, what we want to avoid, I think the thing we want to try to avoid is the conversations the family members want to get them into a program or have lots of people with disabilities do a project together. That's kind of where I guess where we're kind of worried about that. Okay, you can go to the next slide. Okay, we've developed this flyer. We're still working on it, but this is what we'll be passing out to people about the project. And if you look on the blue on the box there, we give a voice to their highest expectations for the child. We want to create more social connections within their community, and we want to build the relationships around shared interests and passions, and hopefully cast an optimistic vision for the future. You know, rather than we understand all the services and supports are necessary, but then there's this life of connections and people which get lost. So we want to build some optimism around that. And this really leads to building a more inclusive world for all. So we are going to have a monthly story hour. We don't have the date and time just yet of that. We're trying to work with some local entities to host that. We will be having a kickoff. This will be done in a 2-year kind of phase. Like we're hoping to get 5 families in the first year to participate in this. We're going to have a kickoff celebration launch in September, so that we can hopefully have a number of families will want to participate in this, and we'll be choosing 5 of them. And then we'll take 7 months to have them do work with the project. We're providing a lot of assistance and tools and resources for them. And then after that 7 months, we'll have a celebration of what happened, bring everybody together, and then we'll kick off the next year. And what we're hoping is that of those 5 families, that all of them will want to be mentors and help the other families in the second year and then going forward with that. And so what I wanted to do is, we do have a couple of family members who have made some really cool things happen. And go to the next slide. I'll talk about the first one. Okay, the person on the left in front there is Tommy, and Tommy's mom. You know, we provide support to Tommy, and Tommy's mom has always said she did not want the traditional going to a program, going to a building for Tommy. Tommy, they're Catholic. Tommy went through the Catholic grade school and high school, which was a big task in and of itself to do. My mom tells about that journey. Tommy also, when he was eligible to, went to a Catholic youth camp when he was younger, and then when he got of the age he could no longer be a camper, he started working there. So what you see on the left there is he is a worker. He's a camper, that role. So you can imagine that child in the middle who's a camper. You know, she sees Tommy as just he's a worker. He's a staff there. Traditionally, what you see is people would see a picture like that and say, "Oh, we took him on an outing but the mom knew she needed a valued role for him. And that role has now got to the point where Tommy lives up there part of the year. And on the right there, that's a person, Chloe, who helps support him. And Tommy is someone who needs 24/7 support. And Chloe's a person who will help him out. So our hope is that Tommy's mom, Ann, is going to help mentor some of these other families coming in about what she expected from Tom and what she did to get to this point. And I'll talk about one more individual. Go to the next slide. On the left there, in the middle, with the guy with the orange, with the white T-shirt, is Sam. Sam works at this restaurant here locally. It's called Orange Clover, and it was his family that found it. When you talk to his mom, it was kind of like, you know, hey, Millie, how did you do this? She said, I just walked in and asked him, you know, could he have a job there? And they have just embraced him, and it's been wonderful for him. And it's more than just a job. If you look on the right there, they had their holiday celebration. They had a themed party. It was a murder mystery. And of course, they made sure Sam was there. And so he got there and he participated in that. And the bottom right is a picture. And again, most of the time, Tom has spent there. I mean, Sam has spent there. You know, there is no paid staff with him there. It's all other community members. Now, Sam does live on his own. Through our waiver funds, you know, we provide assistance to him in his housing. We help him get to and from his job at times. But again, it's about having a family who has some high expectations and wants more valued roles for their son or daughter. And so this is kind of what we want to create with this project. So that's it.
Thanks, David.
Great. Great, thank you, David. Okay, up next, as Jennifer is getting the slides, I think we have Holly, or maybe it's Holly. Holly, you have the slides. There you go, perfect.
Jennifer.
Okay, we have Indiana Family to Family, so I will turn it over to Holly.
Okay, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I am Holly Wheeler. I'm the Executive Director of Indiana Family to Family. And I am co-presenting today with our project coordinator, Christy Skinner, who has just joined us. And we are going to give you an overview of our IPP project, which is our Outreach, Communication, and Engagement project for the state of Indiana. So without further delay, I will turn it over to Christy, who will get started.
Hi, everyone. Let's see. Next slide. Thanks. So if you're not familiar with Indiana Family to Family, we are an organization that works with families throughout the state. And our vision is that we would have a world in which children and youth who require additional health and educational support can thrive. And our mission statement is, through the power of lived and shared experience, we support families raising children or youth who require additional health or educational assistance by providing answers, resources, practical training, and vital information. By advising them and the professionals who serve them. And when we say lived experience, we are professionals and we're also family members. And we all have children that have varying special needs. And so we have firsthand experience in caring for children and youth with varying types of health and educational support needs. And we've just dedicated our work to improving access to information, because we've experienced the first time you get a new diagnosis or making hard decisions about testing, medication, treatment, and we've experienced barriers to care. We know it from more than one perspective. And for this reason, we have expertise that cannot be found in a clinical or school setting. And we have the ability to problem solve and support all who receive services from us in a way that those who have not had direct experience making the hard decisions cannot. We have lived the difficulty of numerous decisions that can have lifelong effects that our children will have to endure for better or for worse.
Okay, thank you so much, Christy. And I would like to just round that out by saying, you know, all children and youth experience needs at some point. The difference is the amount. And, you know, we go by a federal definition of special needs, so, or additional needs, and that includes any condition that is physical, developmental, behavioral, or emotional that requires care of a type or amount beyond a typical child. So that does include intellectual and developmental disabilities, but it includes other diagnoses as well. And so really, our IPP project was in response to the priorities set that were shared in the 1102 task force and through stakeholder engagement, specifically those related to an increased use of peer-to-peer and family-to-family support, and also to provide information, training, and resources to families who are on the wait list. So while those were the two priorities that we met with this project, or we hope to meet, our goal is really, that's what we do, is we already provide peer-to-peer and family-to-family support. So our project was really an outgrowth of increasing awareness to the state of Indiana, to families and professionals across the state, that we are, first of all, Indiana's designated family-to-family health information center, which is a federal designation and grant which provides funding to provide information, training, and support to families who have children with additional needs. And we are also the state-affiliated Parent-to-Parent USA organization, which is an evidence-based model that matches families with trained parent mentors who provide similar information, training, and support. As I mentioned, one of the things that we hope to do is share information and resources to families who may eventually be on the wait list, who are on the wait list, or just families in general, in plain language. That's one of the things that we do. As families, we understand that programs and systems are very confusing. So we try to convey correct, timely, accurate information in plain language. And that is something that we are going to be doing through some resource development and training within this project. We, as an organization, serve the entire state. We are free to families, so the support that they receive, the resources that they receive are available to them for no charge. We provide technical assistance and training to professionals, so professionals can also call us at any time or refer families to us. But we know that helping professionals understand systems and services better helps them help families more. So it's that ripple effect. We serve children ages 0 to 22, and we are really dedicated to representing the family voice on committees, and that is actually part of our tagline. We connect with families, we listen to their stories, we offer them space to share and talk about what they need, and recognize that often they don't know what they need. So we help them process and understand their situations and then prioritize so they can get what they need for their child. The next part of our tagline is elevate. For families who are interested in learning more, we offer training opportunities where they can better understand systems and potentially become family leaders and advocate for systems change. And that advocacy could be as easy as telling a friend, if you're confused, there's an organization called Indiana Family to Family who might be able to help you understand the systems and services. So again, sharing with other families, and also sharing their stories with professionals and policymakers on a broader level if they are comfortable. So we help cultivate that. And then we support, that's the last part of our tagline. We navigate the physical and emotional needs and understandings of the families. And we also recognize a growing need to be aware, and I'm almost done, of reaching diverse populations. So we support families by talking to them one-to-one or offering resources on demand. And then we also are very dedicated to reaching diverse populations. And that is actually part of our project. So yes, next slide, please. What we'll do, our project is really about raising awareness of Indiana Family to Family. And so we are going to be creating, actually, Christy is going to be creating a statewide outreach and engagement plan that will focus on reaching families, sharing information about what we do and how we can help them. And that will be to increase, and part of that will be increasing the stakeholder access to reliable information and resources. And stakeholders could be families, professionals, direct support providers, any number of people. It could be policymakers. So making sure that they know resources are available and they can access them, and then educate stakeholders about waiver and non-waiver programs. So those are kind of the three things that we're going to do. And the way we're going to do this is, first of all, by creating that multi-dimensional outreach and engagement plan. And an important part of that is going to be forging partnerships with agencies to further our outreach efforts. We are working with other IPP projects to create, to gather data about families' experiences who are engaging with the waiver programs. And we're going to create training or resources based on what these families share as what their needs are. We're going to create a web-based toolkit for information sharing, and that can be shared with other providers or other disability organizations. And we're going to host some learning sessions for life course and other topics identified through this data collection. And we're going to do this in a way that is very culturally and linguistically responsive. So we want, we're going to be focusing on some priority populations that are going to be rooted in our work towards engaging with diverse families. The result is, our goals are that more families will have the information that they need for informed decision making. Professionals will be aware and equipped about how to engage with us, and also they're going to know how to refer. So we do take professional referrals. We have a goal to have, our goal is that complex information is going to be conveyed in plain language and understood by families. And that families will have access to information via their preferred mechanisms. And as part of our role as the Family to Family Health Information Center for the state, we offer resources and information on many different platforms and many different formats, knowing that different people process information differently. We are hoping that families and professionals have increased competence in complex systems engagement, and specifically non-English families and those with other cultural and linguistic needs will have better access to the information that they need. Next slide. So, you know, short-term and long-term goals, we hope that professionals will seek partnerships, that stakeholders will have a better understanding of the resources available for waiver and non-waiver programs. Families will have a better understanding, and families will have the ability to think beyond their immediate needs so that they can plan for that good life, which is really, really important. I think sometimes families get, you know, they're just so caught up in getting through one day to the next. It's hard to think long term, and that is definitely something that we hope will occur. And a long-term goal of ours is that through the family leaders that we develop or engage, families will be part of setting goals, not just for their child, but also in systems change. We would like Indiana Systems and Services, as I mentioned, to have stronger and more engaged family leaders and advocates, and that families and professionals will understand what programs and services can and can't provide. I think that is something that a lot of people are confused about. And there are fewer disparities for underserved and marginalized populations. So we hope to do all of those things without duplicating resources, without professionals asking for information on behalf of families. We want families to feel like they can do it themselves, and we can help them sort through the many things that are available so that they can have that feeling of self-sufficiency. Okay, next slide, and I'll turn it back over to Christy.
Sorry, just trying to get my screens to work with me here. Okay, so what we have a philosophy that we want to meet families where they're at, and that means we offer a variety of ways that they can get information from us or reach out to us. And we have information online that families can access any time of day or night. I know as a special need mom myself, there's plenty of times in the late evening that is incredibly helpful when various website or various organizations have their information on their website. We also want to talk with families and provide them more support, and then they'll be able to find online and also help kind of explain it so that they can make use of it and take the best steps for their family. We also have a presence via a variety of social media platforms. Families can request support by sending a message directly to our administrator or our admin. They can fill out a form on our website. They can also give us a call, and we can talk with families by phone. We can email with them, and we try to accommodate some flexibility and timing to help meet them and their needs too. And we also, on the website, we have fact sheets and resource guides, and families and professionals can use similar paths to reach us. So we welcome opportunities to support anyone caring for a child with special needs, whether it's biological parents, adoptive parents, grandparents, foster families, or just, I've even talked with families where an aunt was caring for the child or an older sibling was caring for the child. So we'll work with any of those entities working with kiddos as well as professionals. Next slide. And this is just some various ways you can reach us. There's our website address and our email that comes into us. And then we have that assigned out to one of the various resource specialists, and they'll reach out to the family by phone or email, whichever they prefer. And that is information, pretty much an overview of what our agency does. Thank you for being on here today to hear about us.
Great. Thank you, Christy and Holly. Appreciate it. I put Holly's email and everyone's email for the contacts in the chat as well. Let me see. We actually only have one question. Hold on 1 second. Let me find my chat here. And I know that Pure Abilities answered this, but I think it would be helpful, Madison, if you're still on. It was just a question around how currently those groups and how that is being, or I guess pre grant, how those were being funded.
Yeah, so in asking just whether or not the billing of the program would be through the waiver and what size the groups were for the social outings. So yeah, for our response, our program right now is covered under the IPP grant that was awarded. And then we also will be having a lot of our therapists and consultants who are serving as social coaches to the participants. So those social coaches will be bringing their clients to the program who are also going to be participants. And so they will be able to bill through the waiver with those being client specific to Pure Abilities. But like we said, our program is open to Fort Wayne. So after round one, though, concludes, we're going to evaluate and see about changing things with sizing as well, whether we'll grow from the 15 participants or see how much interest we've gained. But hope that answers the question about billing, with it kind of being dual, both from waiver if our clients are there or if they are participants from Fort Wayne community.
No, thank you. And I think that's a really good question. I think and Josh and Madison addressed this. I think a lot of what these projects are doing is giving us a lot of information about potential services. Again, obviously no guarantees, right? But what are potential services? What are services and supports that can be potentially adjusted, right, to better support individuals with disabilities? And so that was a good question. I think that's the type of information that all the grantees are, not all are very, very specific to a service, but they're all giving us information and data, and capturing it and having those conversations throughout the 2 years, not just waiting, obviously, for May or March of 2025, but and adjusting pilots and projects as we're going along to see if, there are certain things that maybe we're not capturing that we thought would be capturing. So yeah, no, that was a great question. I don't see any more. This is the longest one, I think. I don't know, Jennifer, maybe you guys get the award, but no, but thank you guys so much for sticking around. Again, this recording will be available. There'll be an announcement going out hopefully today or tomorrow with sharing that those recordings are there. We're telling folks, but as you know, not everyone is on these. So we will be sharing that. And we will plug right along the next week. I believe we only maybe have one next week, I think, because of the holidays, but hopefully you can continue to tune in and reach out to any of these grantees, or if you can't remember, their emails. My email is on here. Beads.help is an email that everyone it usually knows. So please feel free to reach out to that as well if you want to be connected. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Hope everyone has a good holiday. Stay safe and enjoys their weekend. Thank you.